Just picture it. Your Orlando Airbnb is booked solid. The numbers are perfect. And a guest slips at the pool, and your insurance company says they're not paying a dime. One wrong policy can wipe out everything you've built. Don't let it be yours. I'm Shawn McCormick, and I sell short-term rentals near Disney every single week. The number one thing buyers get wrong isn't the house, it's the insurance. So I sat down with Colleen Pacheco, an independent insurance broker right here in Orlando, to get you the real answers.
So let's switch gears just a tiny bit here. Again, I specialize in Airbnbs and short-term rentals. So most people that I sell to have never owned one before, a rental, let alone a short-term rental, let alone out of state. What are some of the pitfalls? What are some advice that I can give them, or you would want me to give them on coverage, on risk? What does Airbnb or VRBO might offer them an insurance policy? Do they need additional in over and above that? Those kind of things.
Yes, I have heard that the Airbnb and the VRBO does offer some types of insurance. So I've never seen those documents or like the information to be able to explain to them what it may cover and may not. So I would always think it's more kind of in the line to protect the Airbnb side more than the owner of that property. Sure. Just the way I'm thinking. So they do need to get insurance for themselves, and then to cover the property and make sure it has liability coverage, and then make sure whoever they're getting their insurance from, they explain to them what they're doing. The property is going to be a short-term rental, so they get the correct coverage. Because a lot of times I see people have a short-term rental home, but they have a regular homeowner's policy on it that may not provide them the adequate coverage that they need on there because it's not set up that way. So then they run the risk of something happening. They say, oh, your home wasn't insured property, we're not covering your claim. Okay. And then that's devastating, especially if there was a large, liability claim. That's what I always worry about. The property, you should have the right coverage for the property, but the liability you have to, because Airbnb is more exposure with people coming in and out, and some companies don't write it at all. So I can name a couple, but I'm not going to name any here that don't cover it, but just so the clients are aware. Okay.
So they might be limited on how many,
there's a lot of companies do it now. There's a lot of options, but there are like certain names. Universal Property and Casualty does not do short-term rentals, and Citizens does not do short-term rentals. Right. Those are two that I know right off the bat. So if I know that it's a short-term rental and I see that's the policy that they have, I want to stop them right there.
Okay. Quick note from me, this is where people get burned. A normal homeowner's policy has a business use exclusion, so the day you rent it short-term, a claim can be denied. And some big carriers won't write a short-term rental at all. Confirm coverage before you close, not after. Get a real short-term rental policy with strong liability limits and use an independent broker who can shop it like Colleen. If you're even thinking about an Orlando Airbnb, I put everything I look for into a free guide, the Smart Investor's Playbook, the Orlando Airbnb Guide. Communities, the numbers, the whole buying process. Grab it free in the link below or the QR code on the screen now.
Because it's not going to cover them. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot. So insurance, I feel like sometimes when realtors, not you, but when they call, they just want like the cheapest policy and they want it done right away. And sometimes like to get the client the best policy, sometimes it takes a little time because we're going to multiple sources to get it. So that's number one. And number two, just educate your clients about like awareness of like the surroundings outside the house, and then taking, when they first buy the house, take pictures. When they first buy it, whether they're living in it or renting it, take pictures of the outside and inside so they can document it. Because strange things happen, and then, you want to be able to cover your butt to show the insurance company, hey, look, I had this. Because the insurance company is going to go out and inspect, but they may not get out there right away if something happens. And then periodically through the year, do the same. Okay. If it's an investment property, set up, I know people don't like property management companies because they cost money, but it's imperative nowadays because the properties, I've been seeing so many that aren't being maintained properly, and they're having claims that could be preventable. Water leaks, roof issues, things like that, because the tenant's not going to tell you that they see a spot on the ceiling until it's falling in and something, and they're hurt, something falls on their head, or there's mold through the house and they're sick. So finding ways to check on those properties a couple times per year. It doesn't have to be every month, but I say like every quarter to just check on them so they can document, what's going on with them.
That's great advice. And it just so happens just last night I was looking for, a client was asking me about a home that they're looking to purchase. They're from out of state, moving here. They don't know anything about Florida or neighborhoods or whatever. And they asked me about a specific home. And I'm like, well, they have young children. I'm like, it's not probably a community that has a lot of young kids. And it does allow short-term rentals because every home has a pool. It's not a resort community, but it's in the Disney corridor where, it's likely. And they said, well, how do we find that out? And I said, well, I went to the tax records and I pulled up the neighborhood and I looked at 31% of the homes in that neighborhood. And it's not a big neighborhood. It's maybe 200 or 300 homes. 31% of them were owned by out-of-state owners.
Oh, that's how you know.
So how did those, and again, it wasn't a resort. It wasn't an Airbnb where there's an HOA that's really kind of watching stuff. These are just regular homes. So all 31% of the homes in there are not being watched because the owners live out of state. So that's just very valuable information to have for the homeowner that lives out of state, as well as the tenant that occupies it, or
hire
the
somebody
renter.
to check on it. Like if they're not going to be there because, yes, your tenant may be paying rent and they may be silent, but they may be silently ignoring stuff too.
Exactly.
Bottom line, before you buy an Orlando Airbnb or short-term rental, get the right insurance, carry real liability coverage, and have a plan to watch the property when you can't. Do that, and one bad day won't cost you the whole investment. Huge thanks to Colleen. She's been a trusted partner of mine for years. And also go ahead and grab the free Smart Investors Playbook, the Orlando Airbnb guide below. Subscribe. If you need to reach out to Colleen, her contact information will be in the description box below. And as always, all this information is on the house.